the Rhine is a neighborhood in Cincinnati. It was primarily built by German immigrants starting around the 1840s. It's mostly all brick construction. At some point, people started to move further out to the suburbs, built more modern homes, and these buildings became antiquated. The neighborhood just became impoverished.
So when I first moved down here was in the early 1990s. A lot of this street was all boarded up at that time, and most of these storefronts didn't have hardly anything in them. When I first moved to Cincinnati, it was in the 1984, and I went to college, and we would study over the Rhine in terms of its urbanism and how to design buildings in an urban environment. The renovation of this building, for example, it's the Woodward Theater. Hi, Scotty. This was an old theater that kind of had been neglected for years, really, and now they're fixing up into a music venue. It'll have larger acts. It was kind of a shoot-off of Motor, which is a bar over there. And yes, people from the neighborhood do go there, but many people come from outside the neighborhood as well. But it is good that there are entertainment options and places open late at night, too. It does help with the overall liveliness of the streetscape, and the more you have that, the safer things are, too. People are finding a value of a lifestyle in a city. How they interrelate to each other and how they go about their daily lives. Their commutes are much shorter if they work downtown. You can work 2 blocks away from where you live. You can go to a bar or restaurant within a few blocks that you can just walk to. People like to be in a neighborhood that's developing, a neighborhood that's fixing itself up, and I think that builds a sort of community base when you have that sort of thing. This is my house. It was a burnt-out shell when I bought it. I bought it in 1993. And it was on the condemned list. So the inside had burned down. It took me a year to renovate and rebuild. We had to rebuild the whole structure, all the joists, all the roof structure. And it took me a year to rebuild to the point where I could actually move in. And I've been improving it since then. This is the main entrance. It's to a separate apartment on the first floor that I rent out, so it's actually a 2-family house, which has made it more affordable for me to live here. It was kind of a bigger house than really what I needed personally. So this is my backyard. I first renovated it when I was 25, and you learn things. And I built this deck with this fence and stairs. I bought the house for $17,500. It was a burnt-out shell when I bought it, and I got my total loan was for $90,000, and I had to buy the house and renovate it for that. And so I did it. Over the course of the last 20 years, I've improved it since then. This is the living room. Built new stairs going through the center of the house. And this is my kitchen. So this is a light fixture people love because you can kind of lower it like that to dim the lighting a little, which I do when I have people over for dinner. I raise it up when I'm cooking. I renovated this kitchen probably about 4 years ago. And so I built these shelves, I assembled them. I had to deal with the appliances. The whole project, I did most of the work myself, and I kept budget in mind so I could do what I needed to do within the amount of money that I have, which was not a whole lot. This is my bathroom I added. It's got a toilet lid sink. This is my toilet lid sink, so when you flush it, the water first comes through here, and you can wash your hands, and then it drains straight into the tank. And then that tank, once that's filled up, then that water flushes the actual toilet, so you're actually reusing the gray water. This was a real space saver, actually. It fits in a small space, so that actually was a bigger benefit, because I could have had a small, sort of cumbersome sink off to the side of this. This is the living room. I've been fixing this up a little bit lately. I got this cart from a project I've been working on. It was just left over down in the basement. And I wanted the stairs to be open risers to allow more light and openness in the house. Certain things you don't want to do yourself. People say, oh, they can do a lot of it themselves, but you have to get it up to a certain standard to be able to do that, and most people don't know all that stuff or how to deal with contractors. Here's the bathroom. And definitely certain things most people should not do on their own. Even if I would do another place, I would hire out most things. Plumbing, HVAC, electric, and definitely drywall. This is my roommate's room. This map I picked out of a dumpster. And this is my room here. These tables my grandfather actually built. His hobby was furniture making, and he was able to do inlays of the wood. And this is the old rocker. This is the oldest piece of furniture in my family. This credenza I found on the street. It was thrown away. There are lots of artifacts. You live in an artifact, basically, and you're part of a longer history. The house used to connect to another part of the house, a frame part that existed back there. So there are these openings, these door openings through the brick that went to the back part of the house. But when that was torn down, these were left behind. And so I left the door there instead of just having a window so you can actually open the door and see outside. The realtors call it a Juliet balcony. Let's go upstairs. This was the attic. The bookcase, I actually had a table on top, so for a while I had a little studio up here. Instead of building a railing, that's what I did, so it would have a multi-function. Years ago, all the attics, they used to do their laundry. And strangely, I've got my washer and dryer up here too. This is kind of a lounge space. This was my rocking chair. It was in my grandmother's bedroom. I found this birdcage stand in the garbage. This is the old tin ceiling. A lot of the buildings would have standing seam roofs, which are better than most any kind of roof there is. But I cut this roof out to create a little living space when I renovated the building. The view was great, and I had to take advantage of that. This is Cincinnati. This is the view of downtown. That's Old St. Mary's Church right there. It's the oldest church in Cincinnati from the 1840s. Hi, that's my roommate Paige and my dog Fargo. I've actually slept out here many times. So I always wanted to live in a city, in a more urban city. And I saw Cincinnati having that possibility.